Hi everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today I am here to show you how to make the Pandora blanket. I have made it using Batik Swirls by Stylecraft. This one is the Forest colorway and it is prescribed as a 4mm hook, but you know I always have to go down a size. I did try to use a 4mm hook with this yarn for the blanket because I thought, well, it will make it nice and floppy, but it was just so hard for me to work with that. I don't know why I went back to using my 3.5. So use the hook that you usually use for this yarn, and of course I am just going to use the yarn the way it comes off the cake. So I'm not going to cut into it or anything, so you will need a darning needle just for those ends, but I'm not going to be cutting it as such. I'm going to start a cake and then just continue with it until it runs out. And that's the beauty of this pattern. I wanted a simple pattern that's easy to remember, but that it doesn't matter how much yarn you have. So I've got 3 or 4 of these cakes, so I'm just going to use up those, and whenever they are finished, that's when my blanket is going to be finished as well. But with working from the center out, you will be able to just stop whenever you feel like it or whenever the yarn runs out. So let's get started. We are going to get started by making a slip knot. Insert your hook, and we are going to do a chain 4. So yarn over and pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. So we have a chain 4. Then you are going to go back to the first chain. You're going to insert your hook, and I try to have 1 strand on this side and 2 strands on that side of my hook so it doesn't expand. And then you bring through the yarn and bring through the loop on your hook. There you go. And now we have made a little circle, and that's going to be the center of our blanket. Yarn over and do a chain, yarn over and do a chain. Now we are going to do 2 double crochets into the center of the circle. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So in a way, the 2 chains we did to start with count as a double crochet. So we now have 3 double crochets. Now we are going to do 1, 2 chains, then another 3 double crochets into that circle. So yarn over, into the circle, and you do 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and another 3 double crochets into the circle. Chain 2, and as you see, we now have 3 lots of 3 double crochets, but we need 4, so we are going to do another lot of 3 double crochets. And now we are going to do 2 more chains, and now we look at that first cluster that we did. These here are those 2 chains that we did. We're going to skip those, and you go under that V here. This is where you're going to do your slip stitch, and then the slip stitch itself will lie over that chain 2, and that makes it look like a proper double crochet. So this is round 1. Round 2, chain 2, And now you're going to place 2 double crochets, so one on top of the next stitch and another one on top of the next stitch. So basically we have made sure that we have a double crochet on top of each double crochet of that cluster here. Now we're going to do a corner, and the corners in this project are made up of 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. So you yarn over, you go into the corner chain space here, you make 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. So this is what every corner will look like. 2, 2, 2. And now we have this here again, so that means we are going to place 3 double crochets in a row, 1 each on top of each stitch. So you pick up your V and you place your double crochet on top. And then of course we are here where we have a chain space. That means we have to do a corner, and the corners are 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets, all in that same chain space. See? Once again, time for double crochets on top of that cluster. So 3 double crochets to do. And now, yeah, we've got the chain space, so yet another corner. 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. And we're back at doing the double crochets on top of the double crochets here. And yeah, another chain space, so another corner. So in a way, you make sure that you do 4 corners and 4 sides. There we go. Now we're going to skip the chain like we did before. We go under the next V here and we do our slip stitch. There we go. And that's finished the round. Now, round 3. To make it easy on ourselves, we are going to make sure we start our rows in a corner. It doesn't make sense if you are going to start your next row here now, because you just don't know where you are. Now we have just finished there. We are just going to go under the next stitch and do a little slip stitch, under the next one for another slip stitch, another slip stitch and another slip stitch, just to make sure that we end up in the corner there. This will ensure that during all the rest of our rows we will always be near that corner, and we will only ever be doing like 1 or 2 slip stitches to correct our position. But it will make life a lot easier if you know where you are starting from. Okay, so this is 2 rows of double crochets. Now we are going to make a row of boxes. First of all, we are in a corner, so we are going to do a corner. Corners are made up of 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. But here, of course, we are starting our row. So we are going to replace the first double crochet by a chain 2. Then you do a double crochet. So that basically is your 2 double crochets. Then you do 2 chains and then you do your 2 double crochets. So this has given us the corner. Now we are going to do boxes in this row. So boxes are made by chaining, then skipping a stitch. So you skip the very first stitch, then into the next stitch you're going to do yarn over, a double crochet. There we go. Chain 1, skip 1, into the next stitch, double crochet. Chain 1, skip, double crochet. And you see, part of the reason why we are starting in the corner is so that you are in the correct locations for doing these boxes. Otherwise you might end up in the wrong place. So then we do a chain 1, we skip 1, and then we are at the corner, and that of course is where we do the corner of 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. Okay, so this is our side done. So this is our first side of boxes. Now, chain 1, same thing, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and we are at the corner chain space to make a corner. Chain 1, and off we go, making a side. And I'm already doing the corner. So now we are doing the last side, and remember we did those slip stitches here, so I just wanted to show you, to point out that you just need to be a little bit careful here. This is the only location really that you need to do this. Skip 1, then use this one, skip 1, use that one, and skip, yeah, so that should be fine. So go under it, find any way you can get into that, just so that it looks correct and that you have the number of stitches that you need. So you'll need 3 double crochets there. Chain 1 and then skip the chain, go into the next V and do your slip stitch. See, so that's finished round 1, 2, 3. Now the repeat is going to be 2 rows full double crochets and 1 row of boxes. So we have done our 1 row of boxes. Now we're going to do 2 rows of double crochets. And like I said, this is the wrong place. It's easier for you to just do 1 slip stitch and to be in a corner, know where you are to get started. So now to start row 4, once again, we are in the corner chain space. So you do your 2 chains, your second double crochet, 2 chains, and then 2 double crochets. There we go, that's our corner. And then this time we are going to be placing double crochets on top of every stitch. So here we start with 2 double crochets on top of those 2 double crochets that we see there. And then of course here we have a chain space, so we are going to go around the chain space. Then into the stitch, around the chain space, into the stitch, around the chain space, and so on. So when you come to the end of your double crochet rows, make sure you do the stitches that you are supposed to be doing. So here you have a chain space, so you put 1 in there, and then you have those 2 stitches here. One of them is that chain with a slip stitch on top, so make sure you put a double crochet on top of there, and then 1 here is what is the last stitch of the row, so you must put 1 there as well. And then of course you've got your corner starting here, so you're going to be slip stitching into there and then another slip stitch to get to the corner. You'll get used to doing this, but this is just the most straightforward way of doing it, and also the best way to make sure that you know where you are when you get started with your boxes row. So once again, you're going to be starting with a corner, doing your double crochet row, and ending it the same way as I did just now. And of course, here in your second double crochet row, you are going to be placing the double crochets on top of the double crochets. So I am going to finish my row here. So I've just done my last double crochet, skipping the chain 2 and going under the V there and closing the round. So that was my second row of double crochets. Now 1 slip stitch to get to the corner, and now I'm going to suggest you do the boxes row going the other way. This will help with people whose squares twist a little bit if that does happen. I don't normally have to do that, but I'm going to do it for this project to see if it makes a difference. So I'm going to chain 2, then I'm going to turn. Now that makes it easy to turn, and this chain 2 is going to count as my last double crochet for that corner. So I'm just going to disregard it for now. I'm just going to deal with that when I get here. And after our corner, we usually do a chain, then we skip a stitch and we do a double crochet. Now you're going to have to tip the work towards you a bit more so you can see the V's. And of course, the first one is a bit awkward because we've put a slip stitch there. So skip that one, go under this one here, making sure you're in the right location, and do your double crochet. And then you're going to do chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next stitch. And you will notice that this is the back of the work, which is now facing up, facing to you. And you will be picking up the stitches sort of from the other side. There we go. And doing this will ensure that your square stays more square. I will see you at the end of my round here. Yeah, so I have continued working a little bit more because I just couldn't stop myself. I needed to see the color changes. So this is the end of one of my boxes rows, which I am doing in the wrong direction. So I've just got the corner to do here. So 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and then 1 double crochet, because of course that chain here is going to be counting as our second double crochet. Now I'm going to go into what looks like the second chain, and I'll do a slip stitch to close my round. See? So now I have a complete corner as we are doing in this project. Then I am going to be chaining up and turning, and now you are on top of that first double crochet there. You're going to do another double crochet, and then of course here we are doing a corner. You've turned your project, the good side is facing you again, and off you go again. You're going to be doing your 2 rows of double crochets. So this row is the one where you go around the chain space and into the stitch, and then the next one is the one where you're going to go into each stitch. There we go. And I'm really loving the way it looks, and I am so happy with it. It's really easy to do, and yeah, I'm hoping it will grow quickly. So I will keep you updated with some more footage of how my blanket is growing. it's now a few weeks later, and actually I haven't worked on it. It's been next to my bed and I haven't reached for it. And do you know, I think it's still a good idea. It's you start a blanket in the middle, you work until you've finished your yarn, and that is the end of the blanket. And it's a fabulous way of using up certain amounts of stash because they are pretty and it is used up and it's nice. It's a lovely item, but I can't get myself to work on it. So I guess this happens, and it happens to me as well, and I don't mind admitting to this. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to keep all the yarn together, and I might turn it into a shawl by winter time or something like that. But you know, I wanted to put this on the end of this video because in the beginning of the video I was all enthusiastic and it's a great idea, but sometimes you just lose the will to make it halfway through. And I just want to say it's completely normal. Completely normal. It happens to all of us. And yeah, like I said, I'm just going to put it away, see what happens. It'll come out again. I might just continue. I might frog it and turn it into something else. But it's not lost. It certainly is not lost. And yeah, I hope you can make yours, but this is what's happening to me. So there we go. Never mind, eh? Well, everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this information useful, and certainly towards the end here, obviously do not be discouraged from finishing yours. It's just, I'm fed up with it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.